Yo, yo, yo. Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show. Are you finding it hard to get a good night's sleep? You wondering about your habits? Like, what should I do better? Because sleep matters. Well, today I bring on Dr. Uche Odiatu, and he brings on a new friend, Loren King, and they talk about how you can create healthy habits to wind down for deep sleep. It's great stuff. I caught him when he was at the ODA on the floor. So he's always on the move, doing great stuff. But this is a great interview. So please listen up. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. Are you having trouble sleeping? A lot of people are. It's tough to get a great night's sleep. And I thought to myself, who else could we have on to help us with this? Maybe give us some insight, some research, some great education on how to create healthy habits to wind down for deep sleep. And he brought a special friend today, somebody who's an expert on this whole sleep airway thing. So, Uche, welcome back to the show, brother. I want you to introduce our third person on the podcast, our wonderful guest today.
Okay, so you know who I am. So Loren King, out of California, great place to be from. She's an airway expert. She talks about airway. She's a global speaker, writer. So she's visiting Toronto. She's networking. There's a few businesses that want to talk more about her. She's got lots of things going on in Miami. So I thought, what better person to be a surprise guest on the Act Dental podcast. So Loren King.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for being on, Loren. I want you to give a bio here, but if you're listening to the podcast, I want you to know, like, Uche is one of my favorite guests of all time. The last time I interviewed him, he was in the jungle somewhere being chased by a tiger. Today, he's on the floor of the ODA. Is that true? Give us a little, like, were you just walking the floor? What were you doing? Like, what's the deal?
You know what? If there's teeth, I'm there. This is the 157th annual Ontario Dental Association conference. It's one of the oldest ones in North America. So they probably have 13,000 people visiting. So we're roaming the floor, maybe some courses, I don't know. We got some friends who are lecturing, so it's always nice to be able to connect with people. You know, there's lots of kindred spirits, some global thinkers. You know, as you know, Kurt, you lecture at these things like Fortune 500 companies. Philips is here. Henry Schein, Sinclair, 3M, Care Credit. So this is us. So over the next couple of days, visiting Loren from California. I love California. So that is my, that's one of my sweet spots, the 7th largest economy in the world.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you guys have it going on. So,
That's awesome. So, hey, Loren, let's do this really, because we're going to get into a very important topic here. I want people to know who you are. We have a lot of new listeners, a lot of young listeners. I always love to give our listeners a little perspective on who they're listening to. So just give us a quick bio on who you are.
My name's Loren King. I am a global speaker. I've been in the dental industry for about 12 years. I primarily speak on airway health, sleep apnea, but I'm actually an expert in human trafficking awareness in the dental industry. So I basically teach the industry what to do, what to look for, all of those things. And I am also known as the human experience coach. So I am a life coach for humans in general, not just dentistry. And I help elevate your existence, help you find clarity and purpose. The human experience is the one thing that we all have in common, whether we want to or not. So we got to elevate it.
Very cool. There's like multiple podcasts within this conversation here. So, but let's talk about healthy habits. Why is this such an important topic? I want to hear from both of you. Why do we need healthy habits to get into this deep sleep thing?
Well, sleep is foundational. I think a lot of people don't realize how foundational sleep is to overall health. People often, I've never heard anyone say on New Year's Day, I want to sleep better this year. It's always, I want to lose weight, I want to make more money, I want to stop smoking. No one ever says, I want to sleep better. But if you look at some of the new science on sleep, on the power of sleep to transform everything you do, from how smart you are, how lean you are, how more emotionally balanced you are, sleep is often, because it's free, no one thinks about. People want to know, ooh, how much melatonin do I take? Do I use Halo Sync? But we all sleep naturally. Every living organism has a 24-hour, 24 and a half hour cycle. Earthworms, even bacteria chill out. Bacteria chill out. And because half the cells in my body are bacteria, if I don't help them chill out, they'll sabotage everything I do.
It's true. It's true. Loren, what are your thoughts?
You know, I think that the primary thing, I'm going to speak to the women that are listening to this because I am one myself, and I got into airway because I am your typical upper airway resistant female. The possible things that can come out of that for the women that don't know is anxiety, depression, fluctuating weight gain, infertility, all of these things. No one ever looked at my airway. They threw all kinds of other tests at me, including testing my thyroid so many times I lost count. And I was like, I'm going to cut it out and hand it to you and be like, it's not it. Test something else. And then I finally had a sleep study done because I worked for a company. I was their Northeast Regional Director of Sales. They want you to have a home sleep test so you know how to sell it, of course. And our Director of Education was like, we need to talk. So I actually myself have 18 choking episodes an hour. I desaturate to 90. My heart rate goes up to 130 every time. And I was breathing through my mouth my entire life. My parents actually were taking pictures of me as a kid with my mouth open. They thought it was cute. They had no idea. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yep.
So
Right.
I think the biggest thing is just knowing how critical it is. If you don't go into certain stages of sleep at night, your body's not repairing itself. You're putting yourself at risk for Alzheimer's, heart attack, stroke. If you ask nurses when they have the most heart attack and stroke come through the ED, it's between 4 and 6 a.m. because when your body has these choking episodes, it only has two choices. Wake up, go through the cycle again, heart attack or stroke. Those are the only two choices you get all night long until eventually your body can no longer make that other decision. It's heart attack or stroke. So I think it's just critical. Education is saving lives every time. Every time.
So it's life and death. That's life and death, Kurt. And I think people actually don't realize how many people sleep poorly. And
Yeah.
but you can definitely set yourself up for a good night. And that's why this whole segment is on healthy habits, healthy choices you can do after dinner to midnight, so you can actually sleep deep, rejuvenate, stay alive, beauty sleep.
Yes.
You know, the whole bit.
Right.
What do you have to ask? We are here for you and your viewers.
Well, you guys are the best. This is going to be, I'm going to be taking a lot of notes for this because nobody values a better night of sleep more than me. And I'll just say this, when I have a great night of sleep, I feel like $1,000,000. I'm a better husband. I'm a better dad. I'm just better meeting anybody on the street. So like, and we're also equipped with a lot of myths or a lot of, oh, this is supposed to work. You know, the whole melatonin thing took like wildfire in our communities. People are like, oh, melatonin, it's so natural and it's so easy and you get in deep sleep. So I don't even want to go down that path just yet, but let's start with the foundational stuff. So if I'm listening to this, I want healthy habits. What do I need to know?
Okay, so the quick fix never works, but I think we're programmed now between the 30-second TikTok fix, Dr. Google telling you 4 things to. People really are missing out. A lot of things, the solutions are simple. However, just looking for a supplement doesn't work. You know, the FDA and Health Canada has shown, and they don't actually regulate supplements as much as people think. Melatonin can have anywhere up to 400% more than what's on the bottle. So this whole thing about taking more melatonin isn't better. People often think, oh, why just stop at 3 milligrams? Why don't I take 10? Meanwhile, your body makes it. So like Loren says, your body would rather make it than take an exogenous amount. So if you take exogenous melatonin, say, hey, I'm just going to dump in, 20 milligrams. Well, guess what? Your body's going to freak out. It's just like saying a bit of water is good for you. I'm going to drink 2 gallons of water. You can die from drinking too much water. So melatonin is a quick fix. They've actually shown, neuroscience has actually shown that it really only benefits people over 70. 69 and under, it acts mainly as a placebo. But it's more the nighttime cyclical amount of melatonin that helps you get to sleep. So, Loren, what's your view on that?
I 100% agree. I think, unfortunately, we now live in a world where everything is at the touch of our fingertips, and unfortunately, there's a lot of clickbait out there, and everyone is now an expert, and everyone is now a master, and it's even down to things like breathing versus not breathing. And just like you were saying, you feel like this like Superman human when you get a good night's rest. And it's like I immediately thought in my brain, isn't it so great how you feel when your brain and your body gets adequate oxygen?
Yeah.
Like to you, your entire life, you probably have been living it like a 6 based on your how alert you are and how well rested you are.
Actually, Kurt is a 10 on 10, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, just a
In terms
10.
of like your energy, how you
Yeah.
feel. So if we fix your airway, if you have an airway problem and you're only getting, a percentage of oxygen every night, your brain and your body are only being repaired a portion of the amount. But this is how you've been living your entire life. You don't know what restful sleep is. So
Yeah.
as soon as you actually get it, you feel like a superhuman because your body and your brain is getting oxygen. It's getting repaired. It's getting rid of all the beta amyloid proteins in your brain that can lead to Alzheimer's, dementia, all of those things. If you put those together on an MRI, an Alzheimer's brain and a OSA brain and obstructive sleep apnea brain, they look similar.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's all of these things. It's a chronic issue. And if we don't catch it when you're young, your children, that's how we have adults with full-blown sleep apnea. So
Yeah.
it just gets worse.
And so you guys might think I get, the challenge with being around so many dental professionals that know so much is you know so much. There's too much to know. So I've actually been through ortho 3 times. I'm on a CPAP. And Jeff Rouse, shout out to you. He actually made me tape my lips many years ago. And my wife, Sarah, was like, you're going to die. You can't put tape on your lips. And so it's amazing how when you put all those elements together. Now, that's one bucket. The other bucket is what we put into our bodies and how we prep. So I wear the Aura ring in full transparency, and it is amazing.
Okay.
So if any of you know what that is, it's OURA. It's about $300. I highly suggest that you get it. I wear it every night, and it tells me, did you eat a lot last night late because your heart rate was elevated? Did you have some alcohol? I was like, yeah, I had a few beers. It's amazing the impact of what we put in our bodies prior to going to sleep. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Food impacts so many things. Basically, you are what you eat. Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut. So that being said, you can literally eat so much in a night, or have a big enough dinner right before bed. Your body will spend all its energy digesting food. And digestion is one of the biggest users of energy on your body. So if you eat a big meal within 2 hours of bedtime, instead of recovering and digesting, your body spends all the time processing food. So your body really wants to repair and grow, which growth only happens in stage 3. Your brain recovers in REM, so rapid eye movement sleep. But if you've actually eaten, you actually won't dream as much, which means you won't have as much rapid eye movement sleep. But you also won't spend as much time repairing your skin, cartilage, muscles, and making growth hormone. We actually make 80% of our growth hormone. It pumps out during deep sleep. If someone has a big meal, your body spends all the time digesting food. So one of the best ways to have the best, deepest sleep and do the repair, emotional and physical repair, is have something very light before bed if you need something. But otherwise, you go to bed on an empty stomach, you will actually sleep deeper, look younger, and wake up rejuvenated compared to if you have 2 slices of pizza, some Ben & Jerry's, piece of dark chocolate, or chasing that rabbit's hole of diet food all night. Then finally, you end up having the vanilla sandwich, at midnight watching Jimmy Kimmel. So,
Oh, yeah. I
yeah.
totally agree. So give me ideal. Like, what do I do? I mean, are you thinking just good? When do you stop eating? And like, how do you get ready for bed?
Great question. We all have different metabolisms. I'm more of a night owl. So technically, my genetics, I could actually eat more at nighttime. I think, Loren, you said you were a morning lark.
Yeah.
So she's probably better off not eating at night. But because my metabolism is still firing, like at midnight, I get very productive. I'm creative. I'm doing articles. I'm phoning friends out west and Pacific Coast.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm out. It's 9 p.m. Are you kidding me?
She said
I'm going to sleep.
9 p.m. Pacific time.
I'm out.
She's in bed. She's a morning lark.
Yeah,
So
I don't use an alarm clock anymore. 6 a.m. eyes wide open.
Yes, that's an in tune body. So me, just because I can work out late, I can eat late, I can actually beat myself up. But Matthew Walker, neuroscientist, said the whole world is actually set up for morning larks. The whole world is so a third of us are morning larks, a third of us are night owls, but a third of us are actually mixed. But so technically, night owls are more likely to have high blood pressure, metabolic problems, because we're going against the grain. You know, the early bird gets the worm. There's lots more morning flights than night flights. So that being said, if someone is a night owl, you better work out. You better enjoy your relationships. You better sleep deep. You better have a good stress management strategy. Because if your night owl is out of balance, you are going to have all the chronic diseases which are killing us. It's high blood pressure, diabetes, Alzheimer's. So again, being a night owl then, I am working out, I am doing cardio, I am doing yoga, I am eating healthy. So it depends on your metabolic system. You got to be a bit more careful. So morning larks have to be careful with their nighttime routines. Night owls, we can abuse our bodies, but we actually have even more susceptibility because the world is set up to give the early bird the worm.
Well, then, and on top of that, when you start speaking specifically to airway, if you have obstructive sleep apnea or even just a partial collapse or upper airway resistance like I have, so if you have a choking episode in deep sleep, that means you're going to wake up. That means you're not going into REM. You don't get to go into that stage because you have to go through each stage. It doesn't jump around. It doesn't pick up where it left off. You start all over again. And one thing to remember, deep sleep is for the body. REM sleep is for the brain. So if you look at someone's home sleep test and it says that they're getting a lot of deep sleep, but they're hardly getting any REM sleep, that person is mentally exhausted throughout the day, probably. Vice versa, if they're getting a lot of REM, but they're not getting enough deep, they're physically exhausted throughout the day. You can probably look at their home sleep test and ask, like, do you feel like working out? Like, do you feel like your body is tired? Or do you feel like mentally, I can't have another conversation? You're like, yeah, that matches what I'm seeing right now. And so when you're having those episodes too, on top of that, plus your diet, it's like these things all go hand in hand, right? It's total body health. But nobody teaches us this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think this is only going to get, we're talking about a lot of different buckets here. Let's talk about the digital light bucket. You know, my friends and I, we always talk, do you have a TV in the bedroom? No TV in the bedroom. There's like a hard line on that one. And then phones, you know, being my generation, phones have creeped into our lives. You know, we're probably the only generation that's going to remember having both, no phones and then having phones. And the generation behind us just lives with phones. Can you unpackage all that?
Okay. So, yeah, great question. I think one of the worst things they say that you can do now with EMF is and that's the frequency that comes out of your phone. And it's even more when it's charging. So neuroscientist Matthew Walker, Andrew Huberman, PhD neuroscientist out of Stanford, said we should not be charging our phones in the bedroom.
Really?
So people want to use their phones as an alarm, but the alarm will still work even if it's got only 10% battery left. The alarm will still work even though it's on airplane mode. So a lot of people think they have to have it charged 100% for the battery to work. And if your phone is on standby or airplane mode at 5%, it'll still have enough for an alarm the next day. But they said do not charge your phone in the same place that you're sleeping in. Otherwise, it's called having a dirty bedroom. And I'm not talking Stormy Daniels. I'm talking dirty bedroom as in dirty EMF. You really want to charge that phone outside of the bedroom.
Wow. Wow.
It messes with your mind. It messes with your mind. And basically, we're all electrochemical beings. Like, we're full of chemistry. We're full of biology. Dentists know that. When you anesthetize someone, you depolarize the nerve. It doesn't allow the electrical signals go to your brain. Well, we're electrical beings. You can't electrocute a hockey stick, but we can get electrocuted. So we got to be careful. So charging your phone beside your bed, you're sabotaging your sleep quality. And they're saying sabotaging your overall vitality with that.
Okay. I feel like you're talking about step number 2 when we should talk about step number 1, which is that's the charging. Now let's talk about the using, because charging and using your phone, like it, you know, I don't know. I'm not on TikTok that much, but it's like terrible for your brain and it's addictive. And people go, oh, I'm just going to check my messages. I do it too. I also watch the news which nowadays isn't that like uplifting. I feel bad for the weather guy because the first 15 minutes are all about the worst things that have ever happened ever. And then the weather guy says, on the brighter side, it's going to be cold tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, wow, I didn't feel that good before I went to bed. And now I just looked at Facebook. I feel worse. And now I'm watching the news and I feel even worse than that. I should probably go to sleep. Unpackage that.
Okay, Loren, that's yours.
So think about it this way. When it starts to get dark outside, your body has natural processes that will start releasing hormones that make you sleepy, make you tired. That's why it's important to also have your environment that you're sleeping in prepared for you to go into that state and naturally fall into sleep versus taking melatonin or something like that. When you have blue light in front of you, that hormone cannot be released. It will not be released. There are settings on your phone. If you absolutely have to look at your phone, check your phone, whatever you're doing with your phone, there's a setting on there where it will turn your screen an orange color. I do it at 8 p.m. is when it starts every night. And it doesn't go back to a normal setting until the next morning at 6 a.m. Since I go to bed at 9, I know that's giving me adequate time for those sleeping hormones to start being released in my brain so I can naturally be ready to go to bed. And that's if you have to stare at it. But ideally, no, we don't want you to have any type of currents or anything like that. Blue light, that includes your TV. If you ask me, a TV should not be in your bedroom, period.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't. You need to have a sleep hygiene routine, dark sheets, cold room. There's all these things that go into it to help us make sure that you're getting your best sleep possible because it's when your body's restoring itself.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that's happening.
Yeah. Shout out to Uche. So a couple months ago, you were talking about the glasses. So now all of the glasses I have the blue light protection on them. I mean, I don't even look at anything until like we've checked that box. And is that comparable to what you're talking about? The same, different?
Oh, yeah.
It's similar. Yeah, it's blocking out that blue light so that it's not damaging anything because blue light is damaging, especially a chronic, issue type of thing. But at night, it's going to actually keep you from being able to naturally go into those stages of sleep.
Yeah, and there's different kinds of glasses. There's clear ones that help prevent computer fatigue. But if you want to go full bore, like the Bono style, you see a lot of pro athletes now using orange glasses. And the whole idea is they're blocking out the blue light. You can get glasses on Amazon that block out 99% of the light. And what happens is we're more cavemen and cavewomen than we know. So there's a book called Sapiens by Harari. And he said our physiology is definitely more like a caveman and cavewoman. So for you think of the Homo sapien, 400,000 years on the planet, 2 hours after sundown, the only light we got was the light of fire, right?
Fire.
So orange. Hence orange glasses. So you can actually elicit prehistoric forces at work to wake up feeling like a Homo sapien, not like Homo Neanderthal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, give me some targets here. So if I'm listening to the podcast, what's the ideal number of hours of sleep I should have? And then what's good quality sleep? And if you're like me, you get up to go to the bathroom one or twice a night. I'm just kind of sharing my soul here. It's a red flag. So if I get up once, is that okay? If I get up twice, is that bad? Is that 3? So let's start.
You should never have to wake up to go to the bathroom.
You should not even one time.
Yeah, for sure. I have patients that are 65, 70, and they say, and people just assume by the time you get 65, you're up 5-6 times a night. But we're talking accelerated aging, low testosterone, low growth hormone, sarcopenia, muscle wasting. And they're basically not getting up to go to the bathroom because many guys will get up. And meanwhile, it's dribble. There's no production. So the whole idea being is you got to sleep deeper so the message from your bladder doesn't wake you up. And that's the idea. So 0 is the best. Michael Phelps does not get up. And then he pees Olympic-sized swimming pool, okay? So it's not the volume, the urgency. It's the fact that most people don't sleep deep enough to ignore that signal.
That signal is not going to your bladder to say, stop producing urine. So that's how, if I have a patient that's telling me I'm waking up 4 or 5 times a night, I'm like, okay, do you do that often? Is it only, at certain periods when you eat certain things or whatever? I know all of these answers should be no.
Right.
But you say, yeah, of course. And I'm like, well, actually, it's not normal at all. It should not happen because if you're going into the correct stages of sleep, the signal tells your bladder to stop producing urine. So
Yeah.
it should not happen. And in kids, if you have a kid that's in their 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they're still wetting the bed, that's not their fault. They have an airway problem almost 9 out of 10 times. So
Yeah.
their brain is not telling their bladder to stop producing urine. No matter what you do, it's not nightmares. It's not, they want to sleep with you. No, their body isn't doing what it needs to do. It's not going to stop until you fix the airway. But
Right.
with the question about the hours of sleep, so it's actually coming out now more and people are talking about it more, but the whole 7 hours of sleep thing, that was only based on men. That was not ever tested on women. Women actually need 9 hours of sleep.
Wow.
7. That's just for men. And that study was only done on men. And we've been going by it for decades.
Okay, so
Women
let me
need-
ask some clarification on. So what's the new research? How many hours of sleep do men need now? And then how many hours do women need now? Is it 9 for women? And then
Yes.
It's 7 for men, 9 for women is like the
And it's
strive for.
and it's a myth that it was 8.
Right.
And I think a guy named Daniel Lieberman said it's a myth about 8 hours.
Right.
Because a lot of people think they go to bed at midnight, get up at 8. That's 8 hours. But if it takes you half an hour to get to sleep,
Right.
and you wake up at 3 for another half hour, you only got 7 hours. But basically, the sweet spot, and this is the first time I've heard it, so thanks, Lauren.
Yeah.
It's men, it is 7 hours of sleep, and women, obviously, it's 9. So women need more. And I think they said women get more physiologically beaten up by shift work. Women get more beaten up physiologically by working at night. So, and again, you got to think, women are they contain the womb of creation.
Right.
The world can get by without a guy once the deed's done. But women, they're a big part of that family legacy. If you don't have a healthy mom who sleeps well, that family is no longer leading a legacy life. They will be on the road to self-destruction. So I like that idea of 9. It makes more sense to me now.
So let
Yeah.
her sleep.
let her sleep. 100%.
Do
Now
not
let's
there.
let's
Let
talk.
her sleep.
Yeah, I know that firsthand. Okay, so let me
Okay.
let me ask you about the processing of alcohol. And it's a moving target. Your body ages, especially women that I know for sure, as they go through changes, only because I listen to so many podcasts, and men also, but we process alcohol at different points in our life. So if I was 30, I don't process alcohol the same way I do when I'm 50, 55, or 56. So first of all, talk about the impact of any alcohol when you sleep.
Okay, so during COVID, I had a few patients that are part of the Liquor Commission in Canada. So in Canada, alcohol is sold through the government. And they said alcohol sales went up 60% during COVID. The challenge, though, COVID's 2 or 3 years passed over, but it hasn't gone down. And Health Canada came out last spring saying basically 0 alcohol is best for you. And if you are having a drink every day, whether you have to or you think it's good for you, it might be a sign of addiction. So they're saying 0 alcohol is best. And so if you want antioxidants or proanthionidines or resveratrol, grape juice, blueberries, there's other ways to get proanthionidines or resveratrol in your system other than alcohol. So it's just really good marketing. I appreciate it. It's an economic decision. It's always about, I have a 90-year-old grandmother. She has she drinks a little shot of whiskey every day. Well, she's probably 90 because of the good genetics, not because of her, spirits that she has every day. So, Lauren, what's your take on that?
So from an airway perspective, anytime you ask a patient, do you snort? They're like, only when I drink. I'm like, okay. So that just tells me it gets worse when you drink. But you're snoring probably already to begin with. But a lot of patients don't know what snoring actually is. Snoring kills millions of people all the time. It does kill people. What it is, the simplest way for me to describe it to you is your soft tissues in the back of your throat are closing around your uvula and it's bouncing back and forth off of those tissues. That means less and less air is getting through. The more relaxed you are because of alcohol, the more those tissues relax as well. So it gets louder. So that's why someone finally tells you, hey, you're snoring. Yeah, but only when I drink. It's not a big deal. No, you're not getting adequate oxygen. Snoring will kill you.
And if it's every night.
Over time, every night.
And it's every night.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And the nightcap. People talk about the nightcap to take the edge off the day, but that nightcap may take the edge off the day, but it's taking the edge off your life
Right.
because of It makes the back of the throat more relaxed, so more chance of snoring. But also neuroscience has shown that it also makes you dream less. So you spend less time in the 100 minutes of night. It's about 100 minutes, they say, about 25% of the night. If you probably looked at your Oura ring, and they talk about 100 minutes a night should be spent in REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. You only know that if you had a good sleep study.
Yeah,
But that's where you
be a
process emotion.
healthy. What am I trying to say?
You cycle in and out of it.
Yeah. You cycle in and out of it, but you want it to be proportionate. Like you want it to kind of be very evenly in terms of like if you're looking at it like a pie, it's like you want them to all be even or proportionate.
Nice architecture, sleep architecture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sleep architecture for sure.
And they said that with that though is people often think, oh, big deal, I have a drink. But if you value your brain, you're a dentist, you're a hygienist, you're an office manager, you're a consultant. If you value your brain, they're saying what happens during rapid eye movement sleep, your body processes emotion and it processes memory. So if you're not dreaming as much because of that double scotch before bed, if you're not, if your back of the throat is loose and you're snoring, which is episodic hypoxia,
Right.
more chance of inflammation, chronic inflammation, so cognitive decline, you're actually encouraging cognitive decline. And dentists, we appreciate our brain. We want a good brain. Hygienists need a good brain. They're the preventative experts in the office.
Right.
So
Right.
anyone that's drinking nightly, you're sabotaging your emotional
You're
intelligence,
taking years off your legs.
episodic hypoxia, looking worse, spending more on surgical intervention to look better. And meanwhile, beauty sleep is free, absolutely free.
100%. Okay, so I have so many other things. I'm going to use this as a personal therapy session for you guys. I want to talk about body temperature and room temperature. So a lot of the myths, I have a whirlpool in my house because I was told by so many people that if you jump in the whirlpool before you go to bed and you elevate your body temperature, you'll sleep better. I haven't found that to be true completely. And then I also want to ask you about room temperature. Temperature matters, yes or no? Room temperature, body temperature. Can you speak to that?
Okay, Lauren, you can take that. You want me to? Okay, so
go.
so people who have trouble sleeping often run body temperatures 1 degree higher than people who sleep well. So insomniacs are hotter, not in a sexy sense, but they're hotter, and a cooler body sleeps deeper. A cooler body sleeps deeper. Best way to have a cooler body is an ambient temperature, and this we're actually doing this in Canada, but I know I'm winning the U.S. audience, is 65 degrees, which is pretty chilly. So I wouldn't go from 72 down to 65 in one night. You'll actually, you'll be hanging your chicken breasts by the chandelier. So I wouldn't necessarily do that, but the cooler the better. So aim for 66, 67.
The show is now closed. We look forward to welcoming you back to the show.
That means the convention floor.
Yeah, there we go. We know.
I
This
love
is the
it.
industry.
No.
They're not going to kick
Yeah,
you out. You're VIP.
No, yeah, we're the reason they're here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It does matter though. It absolutely does matter. There's a reason why you hear people say, I absolutely cannot fall asleep in a hot room. Because your body does not want to, and it cannot. It's not the environment that your body needs. That goes right back to sleep hygiene.
So there's a number of things. Some people get more sensitive to heat, light, alcohol. But if someone has a tough job that challenges them from a stress point of view, if someone is 40 pounds overweight, they're not going to sleep as deep. If they drink, they're going to have more episodic hypoxia. Two, if their spouse or partner likes the room warm, if they got a dog on the bed, if you got a dog on the bed, they've actually shown it also interrupts your sleep. A new mom knows, a newborn baby, you have a baby within the first 3 months sleeping with you, no one sleeps deep. So a lot of people are undergoing accelerated aging, poor emotional regulation, low testosterone, low growth hormone, spending all kinds of money to look better. And basically there's about, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that we talked about in the last 30 minutes that actually help people be smart, live longer, look good,
Feel good.
be more creative, and live a long time. You'll be a better dental professional if you sleep deeper.
Yeah, this is so good. I got some work to do as a result of this podcast. Now, I want you to both share a little bit more about where people can follow you and all that kind of stuff. But let's do this. Give us some final thoughts on healthy habits to wind down for deep sleep. I want to hear from both of you.
Okay, so people often overlook sleep as a way to look better, feel better, be smarter. People often send their kids to Harvard, but they said all geniuses are basically kids who sleep deep. So people need to shift their perception of the value of sleep. It's not like an afterthought. We haven't talked about mattresses once. But the one thing people do when they want to sleep better is they buy a $10,000 mattress like Tom Brady. Well, the mattress is not going to do it for you if you got a hot room, a Burmese mountain dog on the bed, and you're just drinking a fifth of vodka. So, but people often go towards the mattress first. So I would say, think of longer sustainable ways other than the quick fix, which is the mattress or popping melatonin. Lauren?
Isn't actually doing that much.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it's like that's marketing, right? That's their job, is to make you buy it. They know that you don't know all of these things because no one's educating, right? It's not in our schools. It's not at our job. So we're not getting educated. Our kids are not getting educated. Where are you supposed to learn it, right? What I would say is the most important thing for children and for adults: get your children tested, get them screened for airway.
I like that.
There's I'm going to shout them out because they're saving kids' lives everywhere. They're a new company called Tooth Pillow. You can find them on Instagram. Saving, oh my God, it's insane.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're doing what I was talking about, where we catch it when they're young, so that they don't grow up to be adults with obstructive sleep apnea. Kids are coming off ADHD medication. They're going from bullies at school to nice kids at school because, hello, if you're not getting enough oxygen at night, yeah, you're going to be a walking bully the
Irritable.
next day. Yeah, you're going to be irritable. It makes sense, right? But for adults, go to your dentist. It is the dentist's responsibility now to screen your patients. At a minimum, they want you to be screening your patients for airway issues. They ideally would love you to also be treating it. It is our responsibility. But at a minimum, go to your dentist or start screening your patients for at least a home sleep test. So when I have a patient that comes in and they're telling me that they're having things that are telling me that there's red flags going off, it's probably airway. This is what I tell them. I say, look, you're exhibiting signs that you probably have something going on. Can I confirm it right here in the chair? No. But what I would like you to do, and what I will do with you too if you would like, is Google dental sleep medicine dentist and put your zip code. Call that office, make sure they have good reviews. Call that office and ask them for a home sleep test. The most it's probably going to cost you out of pocket is $300. It should not be more than that.
Nice.
Worst case scenario, I'm crazy and you're fine. But
Right.
I think it's worth $100 to find out if you're dying in your sleep every night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well said. This has been awesome. Awesome. All right. If I'm listening to this podcast, I want to find out more about the two of you. Follow what you do. Where do I go?
Okay, so I'm more on Instagram. If people look up my first name, put Uche, Uche, dentist, fitness, they'll find me. There's not too many like that in the world. I'm probably about 8 billion is just one of me. But I'm also going to be emceeing some programs. Bulletproof Your Practice in June is going to be out of control. About 500 people in Scottsdale. I say bulletproof your body, you will bulletproof your practice. Most people work on their practice, but they don't work on this vessel, this miraculous machine, which needs rest at night. So that's the best way they can actually see me in person. Loren is everywhere. I know you're going to Miami in the next few days.
In the next 24 hours.
The next 24 hours, yes.
And I got here yesterday. My primary contact portal is Instagram as well. So my Instagram handle is Loren, the Coach for Humans. So that's LOREN.
So Kurt and I, that's Kurt. Kurt's a human. I'm a human. So.
Yes. So everybody. And the next places I'm speaking, though, I'm speaking in Arizona and New Hampshire next. So one is for airway. The other one is for human trafficking.
Wow.
Yep.
Serious stuff.
Yeah,
Serious stuff.
great stuff. Well, so nice to meet you. Thank you both for being on. I know you guys are having a lot of fun today at the ODA. Tell everybody I said hello, but I really appreciate both of you taking some time out to share some thoughts. So, all right, well, stick around while I say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show. Hey, if you enjoyed today, do us a favor, hit the share button, share this with your friends. Keep sending us suggestions for things you want to see from all of our guests, especially Uche, because I'm going to have him back again and again and again, over and over and over again. So until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.